All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to unpack a really fascinating story about a company's evolution. We're talking about how a company that was built for the wild world of cryptocurrency completely pivoted to become a key player in the AI revolution. We're going from Bitcoin to the very brains powering our digital future. So let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the usual legal stuff. Everything in this explainer is just for educational purposes. It is not financial advice. We're here to figure out the how and the why of this story. We're not dishing out stock tips. All the info we're using comes straight from Cipher Mining's own public documents and investor calls.
So this is the big question, right? How does a company that literally started out digging for digital gold suddenly end up as an essential infrastructure partner for tech titans like Google and Amazon? You know, the answer to that tells us a whole lot about where technology itself is headed.
Okay, so to really get how they made this massive pivot, we have to go back to the beginning. Before Cipher was even thinking about building for AI, it was mastering the incredibly tough and, power-hungry world of Bitcoin mining. So, quick refresher for anyone who needs it. Bitcoin mining is basically this high-stakes, high-tech race. You've got these specialized computers all competing to solve these super complex puzzles. The winner gets a reward in Bitcoin. But the most important words here are energy-intensive. And that right there, that's the key to this whole thing.
You know, Cipher didn't just get lucky. They had a seriously experienced team, they knew how to build data centers that could get huge, and they even developed their own software. But all of that was built on top of a single-minded focus on one absolutely critical resource. I bet you can guess what that is.
You guessed it. It's energy. This was Cipher's secret weapon the entire time. They figured out that in a business where pretty much everyone uses the same kind of computers, the real game changer isn't the machine, it's what you pay to plug it in. Now get a load of this number. 2.7 cents per kilowatt hour. To give you an idea of how crazy low that is, the average price you and I pay at home can be 5, maybe even 10 times higher than that. This isn't just a small edge. This is the very foundation of their whole business model. It gave them a massive, sustainable advantage over everybody else.
So how in the world did they get prices that low? Well, their CEO has this great name for it, the grid wildcatter strategy. And it's a perfect analogy. Just like the old oil prospectors, they go out and find these hidden early-stage opportunities on the power grid that no one else is looking at. They lock in these unbelievable long-term rates, and then they build their giant data centers right on top of that cheap power. It's brilliant.
Okay, so Cipher is killing it in the Bitcoin world with this energy strategy. But then a whole new industrial revolution just explodes onto the scene, creating this almost bottomless demand for that one exact thing they specialized in, massive amounts of cheap power. And I'm talking, of course, about artificial intelligence.
And hey, don't just take it from me. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, put it perfectly. He said, the true cost of AI is eventually just going to be the cost of the energy it runs on. The biggest bottleneck for the future of AI isn't some new computer chip, it's just having enough electricity. And this chart really shows you the problem. Look, the power that AI and high-performance computing needs, it's not just a little bit more than a regular data center, we're talking a whole different league. It's an exponential leap, a fundamental shift in computing.
So just how big is this need? Well, one report estimates the US AI sector alone is going to need 50 gigawatts of power capacity by 2028. That is just a mind-boggling amount of energy. And there's this huge gap between that demand and what's actually available. This created the multi-billion-dollar opportunity that Cipher was just perfectly positioned to grab. But here's the thing. For Cipher, this wasn't just some idea on a napkin. They moved fast. They saw the opportunity, and then they went out and actually proved they could do it, landing deals with the biggest and most demanding customers on the planet. First up was this massive deal with FluidStack and Google. We're talking 168 megawatts of power, which is huge, backed by a $1.4 billion financial commitment from Google. I mean, when Google puts that kind of money on the line, that's not just a partnership, that's a massive stamp of approval. And just in case you weren't convinced, they followed that up with a direct 15-year lease with Amazon Web Services. This wasn't some quick one-off deal. This is a long-term commitment from AWS, having Cipher literally convert one of its Bitcoin mines over for Amazon's own computing needs. This deal didn't just signal their transition, it cemented it.
By the way, if you're getting some value out of this explainer, do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow so we can make more content just like this, and hey, it's totally free for you.
So those Google and AWS deals are obviously huge, but believe it or not, that's just the start. Let's take a look at their pipeline and what they've got cooking for 2026 and beyond. Get this, their total potential pipeline is now a whopping 2.6 gigawatts. To put that in perspective, they've gone from thinking in megawatts to planning their future in gigawatts. That's a whole other level, and it's the kind of scale you need to power this next wave of technology.
And this isn't just some fantasy number, they have a real roadmap. You can see the plan right here. The Stingray site coming online in 2026, then the half-gigawatt Mikeska site in 2027, and then the really big one, the 1-gigawatt Colchis site with power ready to go in 2028. This isn't just growth, it's a very clear, very deliberate plan for exponential scale.
So let's bring it all home. Their focus has totally shifted, right? From maximizing Bitcoin profits to now building this massive AI infrastructure. But the shared DNA here is the secret sauce. That core, unbeatable expertise in finding cheap power and building huge data centers, that's the thread connecting their past right to their future.
So yeah, Cipher's story is an incredible business case study, but it really points to a much bigger question for all of us. In this new age, it's going to be defined by artificial intelligence, is cheap, abundant power becoming the new global currency?